It's another Monday evening, and I am more than excited to be here on this beautiful show. On your beautiful screens, guys, I am more than excited. Good evening. My name is Miriam Mensah, and this is a dish on MX24. Today's conversation is going to be one that I have argued over with men, and I have even given them a point that makes them feel like I'm on their side. And I'm going to say it right here on the show. Well, you're welcome again to the dish right here on MX24. It's the most encouraging, motivational, and, one of those shows that just, not one of, the show that makes you want to be more, makes you want to aspire for more. And this show is the dish. For my women, this is a time where we have conversations that matter to you, conversations that empower you, to keep growing, to keep learning, because we sometimes we stop at growth when the real goal is to properly evolve and be the best version of ourselves. So you're welcome again to the best evening talk show in the capital. The dish brings you thought-provoking discussions, empowering perspectives on women's issues, and a focus on global development. No, come along as we continue to elevate women's voices, disrupt outdated norms, and drive real change with progressive women. And when I talk about progressive women, you know what I'm talking about. So we're back again. We're talking about progressive women. Well, I want to say a big thank you to DecoZone for giving me this wonderful, wonderful set. I keep telling you that if you want that house to be a home, grab your pieces from DecoZone and thank me later. A big thank you to Epiglow. Epiglow says that skin is suffering. It's giving... I'm struggling. Grab your Epiglow. Let it give you that glow on the face and on the skin. Whilst you walk around, stop walking around looking like your problems. Because I'm telling you, people don't respect that, okay? You grab you Epiglow and thank me later. I'll move on straight to Gino. They say, listen, those meals need to taste their best. Gino gives you the most amazing spices. And of course, tomato paste that will make your food taste its absolute best. Telecel Cowboy Coffee, Lele Nivea, and Betway. Thank you so much for coming on board this wonderful show. The hashtag on all social media platforms is the dish on MX. On all social media platforms, tag me with that question that you want to ask me. My guest and I will help you dissect them, okay? Of course, empowering women's voices isn't just a matter of fairness. It is a matter of progress. When women occupy seats at every table, whether it's business, politics, education, or any other field, diverse perspectives are brought to the forefront, okay? Innovation is sparked and communities are strengthened. It's time to recognize that women's participation is not just a right, which, by the way, I totally agree to, because it's not a right for every woman to be everywhere they want to be. You need to merit it, okay? But it's a necessity for creating a more equitable and thriving society. Let's explore why women deserve to be at every single table that matters. Ladies and gentlemen, equal seats. Why women belong at every single seat that they merit. And I keep telling you that if the woman does not merit, I beg, stay at the back of the table. Let us have conversations with women that understand that this space is male-dominated. And so for me to be a part of this conversation or to be on this table, I need to work, add value, and just be the best version of myself to be on this table. Not because, so they should put me on the table. No, that's not what we're doing over here. Well, joining us for the conversation this evening is Aseidua Afanyi. Afanyi, right? I got that right.
You got it.
I did.
Got it.
Well, she is GMB, Ghana's most beautiful 22, right?
Yes,
2022?
exactly.
Second runner-up. My very beautiful Aseidua. Listen, I follow this young lady on social media, and I'm always like, God did create too. Oh. God really did create. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. And
awesome.
I think I know.
Yeah.
He has created you wonderfully too.
Oh, Aseidua. Yeah. Give me tissue. Thank you so much. Yeah. I love your grace. I love your calmness. I love your intellect. I love your personality. Anytime I see you on, I say, oh, She's so cute.
Oh, no, I am going to cry.
But anyway,
so
when we
much.
talk about conversations about women being at the table, you know, I keep saying, I kept saying that you need to merit the position. When someone says that, oh, every woman needs to be at the table, so what comes to mind? What significant conversation comes to mind?
Well, first of all, I would say thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
It's a privilege.
It's an honor.
I've heard about the dish for a very long time, and so today I get to sit here with you, and so I'm excited too.
Same here.
When it comes to the conversation about women, I think that first of all we have to congratulate all our women out there for proving that they do deserve to be where they are. And so for those of us who are also young, we are also, looking up to such people to also want to be like them. And I'm happy you said it's based on merit. For so long, we've had to believe that we are in a fight with men, which of course, one way or the other, there's some silent fight here and there.
If there is, I haven't seen it. I think it's a total, misrepresentation of what the actual
conversation is.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's not just by accident. It's about true representation. It's about standing up for who you are, knowing the kind of things that you should embody as a woman. So it's not just because we are soft in nature, because we are calm in nature, because God created us from someone else's ribs, we should be, giving all of the opportunity. You have to go through the process. You have to go through the mill to also be given that equal opportunity. And so I think that it's a conversation that I'm very keenly interested in, and I'm happy to be here so that we have that conversation.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to barriers that, there are barriers, and there are significant barriers that just proper stifle the growth of women's representation in any industry or any space we find ourselves in. What do you think those significant barriers could possibly be?
Thank you very much. I think that we should quickly go back in time. We know that we live in a space, well, let me take it from the space I grew up in. We're told that men have to do this. It's a man's job to go and marry a lady. It's a man's job to do this in the home. It's a man's job to occupy certain positions. And so gradually it became more like a stereotypical like kind of field where women couldn't even bring out what they had in them. And so one of the things I would say is even a bigger barrier is our cultural norm. I think that we've grown so much as a society where we think that, as a woman, dear, well, we'll place in Fakasha kitchen wakakra. But no, that's
like
not. That's not how it's supposed to be. We are diversifying as a country, as a community, as a society, and now it's not just our job to just make sure that children are fed. We have to be part of the actual conversation, and so I think that our cultural norms is a great barrier. Then we have all of these other biases with men and all of that. And so sometimes, growing up, I had brothers, right? I know I'm not too old, but I have brothers that at a point, my mom was the one who was keenly on me that, you know what, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. But now I see my brothers who are much younger than me given the opportunity to be doing all of those stuff that my mom wouldn't allow me to do. And so I think that in their head, that is how a woman should be treated. So it's also one of the things that is holding back women fully, exuding their potential. And so our norms are part, cultural biases. I think that there are things that constantly sort of diminishes a woman's capability in whatever field that, because if for one, I would want to do well, I come to work, trying to give out my all, and then there's a man somewhere looking at me in a certain way, because growing up he was taught that, you shouldn't even go head to head with a woman for a particular position. Then in their subconsciousness, they tend to treat a woman a certain way, which is not supposed to be like that. And so for me, these are two major things that cultural norms and then biases from either men or any other societal, behavior as well.
There's also the bit where people think that over time women have become very entitled. And whilst we're preparing for this conversation, that's one of the things someone raised, like, right now women are thinking that, they deserve, like, they're supposed to, as opposed to the conversation of, oh, I have worked to earn this. So people are thinking, and I'm not part of the people. People are thinking that one of the reasons why women are not being allowed into certain rooms or certain tables or certain conversations is because of that entitlement. Like, oh, I want to be here too. I want to come and be. I need to be a part of this conversation just because I am a woman. What do you make of that assertion?
I think that, first of all, the word entitlement shouldn't be there.
Oh.
Yes, I do.
You're one of those people that you think society is very unfair to women, eh?
Well, in a way.
In a way.
You get it. There's the other side as well. But I don't think that we should have a conversation where we would say women are so entitled. No, women are not entitled. This is a field, that's why we are having this conversation. It's a field of equal opportunity. And so I don't think that something has to do with opportunity then becomes entitlement. If what is due me, then give it to me. Why do I have to struggle for it? So in the course of struggle, so when a person is struggling for something, if you don't take care, then it becomes the word entitlement. Because you feel like, I have worked for this, I have worked tirelessly for this, and you tell me that because I am, this gender, I don't have to be there. Then it becomes, and of course it's an entitlement. I do deserve it, so give it to me. I don't think we should ever call it entitlement, because this is equal representation, because we are also coming from somewhere. We know the struggles that we go through as women. We know the kind of conversations that we have with our fellow women. And we know what the world needs to hear about what women go through. And so in corporate fields, businesses, the media, whichever space we find ourselves, I don't think that we should call it an entitlement. I don't think we will be having this conversation if
there wasn't a battle to take us out.
Exactly. There's no battle. I don't think there should even be a battle. I think if for anything, men should be our allies. If for anything, men should be like, there should be those people that would, go talk to Charlie today. Things they go well, crowd. This is how this person is treating me. This is how my boss is behaving at the office. This is how things are going. And so they would rather pull us in. But if it becomes sort of a chauvinism conversation where one party feels entitled, the fact that God created you when I wasn't around, or like he created you first before me, it doesn't make you any bigger of a person than me. If for anything, like I said, I think that it should be a friendly match. It shouldn't it shouldn't be difficult at all. No.
Now, whilst we continue on this conversation, I think this just kept coming back, up right here on the show. So let's just get right into it. So for me, I think a lot of women also think that the environments they find themselves in are not very conducive enough for them to grow. So for instance, when we're talking about women in corporate spaces, you think, okay, so because she's a woman, at some point she will be a mother, and at some point she becomes a wife. What are the structures put in place to make it very conducive enough for her to grow, for her not to feel like she's become a burden on the company? Because some companies will tell you that, oh, we don't hire women in this we don't hire women in finance, we don't hire women in corporate affairs because she has to go on leave, and we don't have room for that kind of, you know. And then when they give birth to, they'll tell you that, oh, we don't accept women in this space because women will now go and give birth, and then they would have to give them, you know, maternal leave, and it's just stressful. Let's not put women in this conversation. Now, women are asking that, listen, include us and create an environment for us to thrive. So whether I just gave birth, I have a space at the office where I can keep my child and I can still work and nobody will feel like I am invading their privacy. All these conversations have been had over time. But in your opinion, do you think that they really have to step up on that level? Do you think it's the work of a woman, or is the work of the companies to create an environment that women will thrive in?
This is a very dicey conversation.
Isn't it?
And a very dicey question, I must say. So I would say it's a 50-50, you know, turn up. So we are having women who are complaining that they've grown up or they grew up in very limiting backgrounds. I would say the same for men. There are some men who also entirely grew up in a very limiting background. But then gone were the days where, as a woman, you would give birth, you go and sit at home for all of the time that your grace period has to be for, and then you will come back and then come take up your position again like nothing ever happened. While there are some organizations who don't have that grace for a woman, I would also say that women should also, because of the times we are in, now productivity has doubled, you know, than before. Now the space is very saturated, even in media, even in the political field. And so I don't even think that it is men preventing women from thriving. I think it is even us ourselves. Sometimes we don't even give ourselves enough grace because you are thinking, some people don't even want to give birth because they feel like, if I give birth right now, then I'm ruining my whole shape, my whole, you know, hey, I'm looking this way, I'm looking that way. So I think that when it even comes to the pressure, it's even us giving our own selves the pressure, not allowing ourselves to even take some rest stops and all of that. And so if you're a woman and you are watching me, unfortunately, we are in a space where these organizations, the moment you are exiting, someone else is coming on board. And so I would say that this is not even allowing a woman to thrive. Of course, there are some that are very mean. Some, I've even heard a case where they give a woman like a month to go home, breastfeed, and come back. I mean, a month, what would you do with a month? I mean, and so if you're in a space where your company is allowing you to maybe be the woman that you are, you also need to double up and realize that, you know what, we are in a space where a woman doesn't count, a man doesn't count. It is what you bring to the table that counts. And so whatever it is that you're doing, just have a psyche in your mind that you're not going to let being a woman make you feel like, oh, you have to do this for me. I'm so tired, I can't do this, you know. We would keep on having such conversations, but then it should be a psyche in the mind that this is the environment I choose to be in. I'm sure all of the people in this tech field, there's no rest for, you know, any person whatsoever. And so I just think that we are in I'm sure maybe there will come a time where things will slow down a bit. But as we are moving at a very fast pace, all you have to do is to take some stops when you feel like it. When you are tired, sometimes your brain is shut, everything is shut. And so you can't the more, I feel like the more you overwork the brain, then it gives up. And now, even if you are to come up with ideas, if you're in a creative space, you can't think no more. If you're in a space where constantly you have to be moving on and about, you would break down. And so I think that there are some men who are holding their women down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You
don't seem to agree with me.
I have my two best friends are male.
And so what's happening in there?
And I personally think that they're the best decisions I've ever taken in my entire life.
No.
Like, I was actually just thinking about it this after. I'm like, these people make me feel like I'm like,
Exactly.
like with these two in my life, I feel like a real superstar. One is my co-host, Kojo Dasabre. I love you. You know this. And then Kumi. I mean,
Yeah.
these men,
Yeah.
Klaus.
Yeah.
Is that Klaus or Gabby? It's Gabby. It's Klaus. my director.
Exactly.
Like, he's always making me smile.
Exactly.
Like, no matter, you see him outside, he's looking all gloomy and looking like he don't want to be here. But then once he gets into my ears, hi, beautiful Mimi. And so I think that there are men, and I agree with you, there are men that create a very conducive environment for women to be there are days where I call my producer and I tell him, Jeff, I'm going through this, and he'll be like, Charlie, take time.
Understands.
You're a woman.
Yeah.
He can say things like, you're a woman, you know, you for not do this kind of things. I'm like,
Okay.
okay.
When you were talking, this also dropped that you should also know the kind of people that will be around you as a woman. We've grown up seeing men who wouldn't even care about you no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And so it's also coming from a place where their minds have been psyched that we're growing up. And so we don't always have to be the victim. Sometimes you also have to draw people in. Let them know that, like you let your producer know, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not sure I can do this. Like, draw people in, no matter how hard at heart they are. At the point they'll just
there's something out for you. I think the men also, and I always say this. I mean, I'm a boy's girl, right? And I always say that sometimes they don't even understand what you're complaining about.
Exactly.
And so you be that person that will be vocal about what it is that you're dealing with, or what it is that you want them to understand, so that it doesn't become you sending, signals that they don't get, right? So even with the conversation on whether or not we want men or industries or companies to create a conducive environment for women, we really also want to tell them why.
Exactly.
Why it's important for me, because I want to work, but if you do this for me, I'll be twice and then prove it.
Exactly.
Because I'll not lie. See, the world has become, and you say it so beautifully, right? The world has become a place where it's now devoid of gender. Charlie, just do great, and everybody will hail you. And honestly, they don't even care whether it's done by a man or a woman. Just be the person doing it. Just do it, okay? Well, let's get into other conversation. What role does mentorship and sponsorship programs play in empowering men to become or to take leadership roles? Mentorship and all these sponsorship programs where they tell you that 20 steps to becoming a valuable woman in there.
Maybe we may not entirely take the 20 steps, but
we'll take something from there.
Well, I think it's a very, very important, salient point when it comes to not just a woman, but even you aspiring evolvement, as you said, in life. You definitely need to look up to someone, sometimes silently. You would observe, but there are moments that you have to even get closer to even learn more. And so I think it's very important. I think somewhere 2017, 18, I found myself, attending one of such events. And from there, I got into contact with one amazing woman, Janet Kwenu. She's doing amazingly well in her field. And we just met, I saw her, she spoke beautifully. I'm like, okay, I don't have a sister. And I think that if I should get an older person, because she's my mom. But then sometimes there are certain conversations that we don't get to. I don't know if my mom is shy. And I'm also shy of her too. So we hardly have, the kind of conversations I'm talking about. So it's across all conversations. And I opened up to her. She saw me as someone who she can potentially groom to become maybe a better young lady. And so from 2017 through to now, I still talk to her. I met someone like Cookie Tea. And
shout out for Cookie Tea, that we have to wait and clap.
Exactly, we have to wait and clap.
She is a girl's girl.
I know.
And all the, in fact, small girls need now big sister.
Exactly.
Oh, Cookie. Okay, tell me about that encounter.
that encounter, I'm sure when I'm a big person, then I'll share it well. But I met her at a circumstance where I was broken, and she lit me up with her warm embrace, the kind of conversation she had. She pulled me in, and I was so happy. And from then, you see. From then, it's been a very beautiful journey from then. Well, back to the main conversation. I think that it's very important. Like I said, I met these women who constantly give me one or two things that I can, more like incorporate in my life to make it better. And so I think that there's so many young ladies who are coming from environments, maybe they may not be like mine, but they even have everyone around. But then there's just some tiny, things that no one at home will teach you. There are some conversations that you can have with friends. And so through mentorship programs, you are able to connect with people who have even done better. Even if it's not all of the things that you pick from them, at least one thing would help you. One of the things Cookie tells me constantly to do is to communicate. And I know that I'm not the best at it, but constantly I'm trying to get better. If you are not coming, let me know ahead of time that I am not coming. If I'm not going to, maybe whatever it is, you need to communicate. And so these are little things that I think that women need. Maybe our mothers may not have taught us, but as younger generation, you will learn it even from the ones that are even ahead of us. So it helps you shape your life. It helps you align, and it also helps you know whether, like alignment, like know whether I'm in the right, is it the right trajectory? Like, am I in the right path, on the right path? So I think that is very important. It even calms you down, because sometimes some conversations that I had during mentorship series, you would get to know that, okay, I'm not the only one going through
and I'm not doing that bad either.
And I'm not doing that bad either. Maybe someone even had a worse experience. And so you can also get to network, where you meet different people in their various fields of expertise, where you can also tap from. And so as you are getting all of the stress from work, you know that, oh, okay, I've met this woman in tech. I've met this woman in media. Okay, then as work is giving me all of this stress, I can also go to this person, more like de-stress, get, fuel up again, and so get back on track. And so it's very important. Mentorship is something I can never take for granted. In person, on phone, whatever it is.
We need mentorship.
It's very important.
And these sponsorship programs, right? One of the things that I've noticed about them is that, about this life is that, you see, a lot of people have dreams and aspirations that nobody's there to help.
Exactly.
Some of these programs help you become, because I think I recently attended one and I was like, people actually sponsor people to do this?
Exactly.
To learn more? Like, really? I didn't even know this.
Exactly. No, so now, gone by the days, my mom had a salon. My mom is a hairstylist. I'm not shy to talk about it.
No.
And so, growing up, Krana was friend a hairdresser.
Yes.
So my mom is a hairdresser. Now she's doing other things. And all of that time, I didn't even think it's to learn. But I saw other young ladies pass through her hands, even open their own shops as it is. And so, like you said, there were times that the young ladies that were coming didn't have any help from anybody. But through her own way, she took them in. She trained them. There's a name for it, vocation. Now, there's so many vocational training that every young girl can go into. Recently, I want some of the things I don't want to share.
Don't share too much, okay?
But there's a skill I would want to learn now, and I feel like if I learn it, it will be good for me, and so no other person will come telling me that you don't deserve to be here. Because already you've gone through the training, what requires you to fill up that position. And so wherever you may find yourself.
I see where you're going to with that. So these programs...
Oh, no, that's not it.
Okay.
This is just a skill. It has to do with skin care.
Okay.
And so I love skincare.
Oh.
I feel like black is very beautiful.
Yeah.
And so it's something that I would really want to learn more about to, you know, do stuff. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Listen, this conversation, and in fact, before we started the show, I told her that the last time I had one guest on this show, it was probably my best show yet at the time, and I think I'm going to have my second best. Or my best, okay, today, and I think I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying listening to her. I keep telling you that we're learning and growing on this platform, and so every single show you find me on, we're learning and we're growing together. But we're going for a quick commercial break. When we return, the conversation continues right here on The Dish. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to The Dish right here on MX24. My name is Miriam Mensah. We're getting back into the conversation with Aseidua. It's been very enlightening. In fact, for me, I'm like, ooh, girl, your cute little self is too bright. But this is why we bring you the show right here every single Monday evening, because we want us to all learn and grow. And when it comes to women being represented in spaces where we think that over time we have worked hard to earn, it has become a conversation that I think over time people are even feeling like, oh, y'all doing too much. But until we see a real representation without any biases, attached to it, without any stigma attached to it, we're not stopping. I think a lot of women know and understand the impact we can bring on the table. And even men, let me tell you this, there are men, my dad once told me that if you want something done well, do it with a woman. He'll always tell you that if you want to do something done really well, details all checked out, you have to do it with a woman. And so I think that over time, there are men that are appreciating the value we bring on the table. But how do we write out completely those biases? And that's why we have these conversations every single time on the show. I want to say a big thank you to Decozone for this beautiful set. Epiglow. I love my skin thanks to Epiglow, okay? I'm glowing, and if you don't want to have people asking you questions like, don't do that. Don't let nobody ask you that. And I keep telling you that don't use that cream, man. If you don't use cream you use on your body, on your face, it's a taboo, it's a crime against humanity, and you should be arrested. Get you a facial cream from Epiglow and thank me later. Gino, Telecel, Carbol Coffee, Nivea, we say thank you for coming on board this amazing show that empowers women. Now back into the conversation, Aseidua. I still have beautiful Aseidua in the studio. I need everybody in the studio to clap for Aseidua, so now we have established all the problems that we have.
Exactly.
How do we get policies to be put in place? And I'll tell you this.
Okay.
When we were all fighting for affirmative action, and affirmative action, everybody affirmative action. When it was passing, we saw how everybody was excited. Now we're talking implementation. New government comes by and says, listen, I'm with a woman. I'm even going to give them a women development bank, a woman this, woman that. We look into the ministers that have been appointed, and very few women are there. And we're asking, is it our fault or is it the people that said that they're going to? Implementation has become a problem. So let's talk about some of the policies that we think that could be introduced and properly implemented so that women, whether in workplaces, whether in politics, whether it's in the society at large, we feel included and feel like our voices are being heard.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I would first start with respect. Respecting who women are in the first place. If you respect who a woman is, if you respect their capabilities, if you respect what they bring to the table, then I believe that implementing all of the things that have to be put in place will not be a problem. But when there's that mistrust, there's a little bit of doubt in there, then it becomes a serious problem because constantly you will be doubting. And so I believe that And I'm happy because, well, I wouldn't say 100% happy, maybe semi-happy. Because in the last 4 years election through to now, well, we are constantly seeing, you know, some small add-ons, you know, some little, they may not be major, they may be minor, but for us sitting right here,
it is big.
It is big because it wasn't there at all. And so each and every year or each and every passing time, we see women who try to front conversations, try to front projects to see themselves, or for, you know, the people who are in charge to see them worthy to even put them out there. And so I'm so happy that even in governance, we are seeing some women in parliament, though it's not enough. We are believing more to come. I believe that some of the things that can about respect is we implement policies that will sort of take away more like biases of women. That you know there are some organizations that a woman cannot take up onto a certain role. So there's a limit to what a woman can, or the position a woman can how do you call it, like
attain or
can take up, or whatever it is. I believe that women are not a limited species. They are not people that you can limit. I believe that women, they are flamboyant, I would say. Like you said in the beginning, if you want something to be done better and even achieve greater results, you should involve a woman. And so there should not be like a below the belt that this is how high a woman can climb in a job environment, in media, in businesses, wherever field that we find ourselves. I believe that there's so much more women can do. And so let's clear all of those. You can just be a secretary. You can just be, you know.
It will tell you that this secretary Juma
Debbie. All of these biases need to be scraped off so that you come in with what you can offer. You come in with what you can give, so that we put women out there. Another thing that I believe that we can do is what, I've forgotten. I was thinking of something.
No. And let me just chip this one in so we continue the conversation. There is a bit also where people are, I mean, there have been conversations about when it comes to workplace, not only do women feel like, and by the way, before I get into that, my very good friend Kofi here would argue with me. He says, Madam, in the 1980s and the 1970s and whatever, women were the ones who were championing certain causes. Politicians were sponsored by women. Politicians couldn't move when women haven't asked them to. They couldn't take up certain positions if women don't support them. So it is you and your generation who has decided that the women's voices, the woman's voice will be muted by our own differences.
Exactly.
So sometimes when you look at the bigger picture, it's not really the men, it's just other women saying that, oh, I want it to, so don't give it to this other woman. Support is not only from the male, our male counterparts. Exactly. We want support all around.
Ourselves.
So for instance, in this office, we do not have a space for children. So if I just gave birth, I don't have a space to keep my child. And people have been advocating that policies should be made for companies to have space, nurseries in the offices. It might not be in the main office complex, but make provision for babies. Make provision for a woman who has just given birth. Make provision for her to be able to navigate that journey of motherhood without having to feel like she does not belong here just because she has a child. Exactly. or she doesn't belong here. You know, so I even heard, and this is going to be really, really ridiculous, but I heard that a company says they're not going to employ married women. Until you're banner on here, for now they ring bad, they'll be coffee. Customers do not, you know, their male customers just don't like, you know, they cannot flow
what
well.
mentality are
The
you having
thinking
as a customer?
See, the thinking itself is evil.
And yet, if
Because I'm thinking about something like, okay, so if I'm a married woman, then there's certain level limits
to what you can do.
This is what they said. They said there's a limit to how friendly a male customer can be with a married woman. So they would rather hire single women.
So for the single woman to be worried, then it's not also good at all.
And I'm thinking like, okay, so if I'm looking for a job, but I am really qualified for this job, you're not going to employ me just because I married your brother. Is that not crazy? So some of these policies could be put in place where, listen, they can say, I mean, a law or an act could be passed and say that, listen, every company should have this amount of women, this percentage of women in your company.
Exactly.
Every business, if you're going to be certified and be working in this country, we are creating room for women to thrive. So listen, you're going to have a nursery. In other countries, men are given maternity leave as well to go and help their wives.
Their wives, of course. It's not just her.
So we're not asking that. Give our men maternity leaves as well. Let them come and support us whilst we are on maternity leave. These are some of the policies that we are asking that be put in place.
Exactly.
Let the woman know that her place at the table is not only because it's not only valid when she is whole.
Exactly.
When she hasn't gone through marriage or childbirth. And also, the fact that she is married does not negate the fact that she could be productive or she could be the best person for the job. I think there's a lot of things we could do, right?
Exactly.
And for me,
another thing I also wanted to add is that women should be involved in developmental conversations.
Yeah.
Not just, we need people to clean the washrooms at the workplace, then you go to a woman. No, the conversations that will help organizations and businesses also thrive. I think that women should be included because it brings us to the main point that if you want, you have a single man conversation and see how your business will go.
Yeah.
But if you involve a woman, it becomes a wholesome thing to do. Like things will just flourish, as and when.
Now, what are some of the best practices for creating flexible work arrangements? I think we've talked about it briefly, okay, that support women's career advancement and work-life balance. So I want to become a manager. However, again, I'm going to go back to this. I just gave birth. I also want to go and take up a course that it's like a promotional course, but I don't know if going for this will make me a threat to whoever is there, so I'm holding back. A lot of women have decided to hold back on what they could be just because they don't want to be threats to men, so that the men will feel safe around them. What are some of the things we could do as men? And I'm speaking for my boy them. What could they do to create or to foster an environment that will make the woman know that you're safe? I can go and learn, I can go and study, I can go and take up a course, and I wouldn't be scared of not having my job back or not having a place in this world just because I'm learning, right?
Yeah, I believe, like you said, we've talked about it briefly.
Yes.
I think that, I'll say it again, we should have the backs of women as men. We should be like their best friends in whichever way that we can be there for them. Like we said, in pregnancy, the woman is carrying the child through to childbirth, through to raising the child up to a certain stage. They are always the one that is taking a toll on them. Mind you, work is also, hitting here and there. And so the best you can be is to be a partner. The best you can be is to collaborate with women. Don't let it be as if they are fighting, an endless battle. I just feel like men can do better, pull women in, even in stages where they feel like, there's some men that when they are working with women and maybe one time things don't go well, they are very much excited about the whole thing because they feel like, no, there are some men that are actually intimidated by the presence of women.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be any intimidation. If for anything, like I said, it should be a collaboration. Of course, God has given you the mind of a man. You are able to spearhead conversations and all of that. But when you pull women in, it's much better. The conversations become very, very complete. And so just when, and we are, naturally, we are not, that very hard kind. Oh, there are some that, they are very hard.
Because the tendency to hard people, we have to be hard to be able to match up their energy.
But it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Women should have, of course, then I would talk about this. There are so many times people said, some women even get angry when there are conversations about they knowing their place. A woman has her place, and her place is not just in the kitchen and all of that. Her place is beside you the man, to make things better for them. And so I think that when it comes to men, these are some of the things that they can do. Help us generate ideas. Help us come up with fruitful solutions, so that at a point in time, it's not like you are the one dragging whatever it is. When you see that it's difficult for a woman, we are not talking about just finances. Be there emotionally, be there physically. Any way you can provide support is the support that is needed. I have a friend whose boss is, they're coming up with a project. I think it's almost done. And she's the one the owner has put in charge of the whole project. Isn't that beautiful? So beautiful.
Yeah.
And what she's doing is what exactly a man will do.
Yeah.
We are not saying that we want to come in. No.
Just give us a space too. And we're not begging for it. We're telling you that we've added value to ourselves and we merit those positions too.
But why is it that when it comes to us, we have to tell ourselves that we've added value to ourselves? But you will see a gentleman who hasn't added any value.
No. This is why we have a problem now. No, Aseidua, you and I have a problem now.
No.
I think that when a man is coming on the table, when I say this, and that's why I keep telling you guys on the show that I am no feminist. I love my girls. And I'm a boy's girl, and I love the fact that girls know their place in life. Like when I meet a young lady who knows that realistically, so many of the industries that you want to be in are male-dominated, and I respect that. But I'm going to take my place there too.
Exactly.
I like it when I see people tell themselves this truth. Because I tell you what, before a man will get any position, he has to prove. He has to prove that he is worth that position. He studied, he's gone to school, he's added degrees best at 3.
Yeah.
But when a woman comes, she's pretty, we can put a pretty face. Are we still doing
that? No, I'm not sure we are doing that. It's still going on.
Maybe it isn't, but over time, that narrative was created.
Exactly.
And for women to think that, I can always get this thing just because I'm a woman.
No, I am not for that conversation.
You have to prove that.
Exactly.
You have because listen, I have a business and I'm employing people. I'm not employing people because of fine face or because they're women.
No.
I'm employing women. If I'm employing women, I'm employing women who make the business grow. If I'm employing men, I'm employing men because I want someone to make the business grow. So it's not about whether or not the world is fighting for your championship. It is about have you made all the necessary steps to make yourself the person for the job.
Exactly.
You know how they say about relationships, right? Where you're praying for like want a tall black man with money, but do you have money?
No. So you need to build whatever it is you're looking for in someone or the other thing. Yeah. You should also brace yourself.
No, you have to. That's what brings me back to the conversation of you need to merit it. You need my head is spinning me. You need to know that to be an on-air personality, I need to go to journalism school.
Exactly.
I don't just have to speak good English.
No.
I need to know my stuff. I need to sit here and not sound like a joke.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, I mean, a story just recently started trending, and the video started dropping. And when the video started dropping, you could tell that, there was a reason this girl actually got people. Because she was, She was speaking medicine like, they know what I'm talking about. Let me post more shit. It's not anything. But, you know, a lot of people believed her at the time that she did. It's to a point where she was even appointed by the government. Because she showed that she actually was in that space before, or she merits that space, until they realized that, oh, this is all scam.
Yeah.
But you see, now we want to do it the right way.
Exactly.
Women should be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn the things that are making the world go round.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be employed in a tech company, if you want Meta to employ you, what do you know about their company?
It's not by accident that you get to assume a certain position. You have to practice, like you have to know the technical know-how or whatever it is,
matters, you know, I sat on interview, you know, boards that a young girl will come to a company and you ask her, what do you know about this company? Like, oh, I'm like, sister, me, I'm sitting among 4 men. How do you think I can defend you? When just Googling about this company and knowing what they do that's something as simple as that.
Know your
you could
stuff.
not do it.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, this show, I continuously tell you that we're learning and growing together, and sometimes we're going to be admonishing you, because some of the things that we do as women out here is what is stopping all these advocacies in their tracks.
Yeah.
Is what is making all these advocacies for women empowerment, making it look like a joke.
Yeah.
Because all we do is like no work. No work.
Exactly.
But this is where we start from, where we women, and by the way, let me also give props to the women that know it and are putting in the work. However, the world is just not giving them an opportunity.
Yeah.
Your time will come where a door will open. You know what they say about preparation meeting opportunity?
Exactly.
Then there's a breakthrough there.
That's true.
We need to be able to equip ourselves so that when these conversations come, because again, if government says that we want every company to employ 2,000 women, where are the 2,000 women? They have not gone to school.
Exactly.
They have not taken their skills seriously. They have not decided to add value to themselves. The degrees that men are holding, they are not holding. And we can also acknowledge the fact that there are times when some of these things, it's not their doing.
That's
you know, so the woman doesn't have a degree. It doesn't mean that she didn't want a degree. Anything could be the reason that she didn't get that degree. Maybe a woman, they're looking for a PhD holder in a certain space, and you're not the person for the job. Okay, well, there are those specific or special situations that you cannot help it. But there are women who are putting in the work, who are going to school, who are studying, who are making sure that the position is for them. Give it to them. It's not that hard. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the final part of this conversation. So far, we have touched on the problems, we have touched on solutions, we've touched on policies. What other thing do you think we can do to make sure that this conversation of women being included come to the forefront? Like, what can we do? Because I think that we're having a conversation on the dish today. It helps.
Exactly.
But what else could we do?
I think that, just like you said, I'm happy we've had this conversation, at least to set things straight.
Yeah.
And before I answer this question, there are some women who are doing well globally. We've seen Hillary Clinton try to take up a presidency position. What didn't happen? We saw Kamala being the vice president for the United States of America. And even in Ghana, we have our own vice president, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman,
who has a very rich, she has the biggest CV any vice president has ever held in the country, and she's a woman.
Exactly. So let me set what I'm going to say on here. I've seen conversations generated on social media, and some are not even coming from men. Some are coming from women who think that, oh, she's too old for this. Then undeserve it to be there. Her dressing is colo. Like series of conversations, void of politics, whatever it is. I want us to sit, analyze the conversation that we are having. Know that if you are out there talking down, so down on your fellow woman, someone even older than you, and you think that it will get to you and people will treat you special, then you are wrong. If it is happening to one lady or one woman, know that it is all of us. It is an all-inclusive conversation. And so don't be at home, don't lay on your bed, don't listen to your music thinking that all of these conversations are away from you. You may not be in that position you are in forever. You will grow. Definitely life is about growth. You would evolve. You would get to wherever you want to get to. And so we shouldn't treat the positions that our current women are in trivially. We should hold it as though it's for all of us. And if you're a young lady, go to school. I have a friend who has done school, all of that, and tells me that school is not, if she knew that she thinks school is a scam and that our parents lied to us, and then she would have rather, you know, it got to a point, businesses, trade and things were really trending. It became the trend of the day. But then again, formal education is very, very important. You cannot take it for granted. Like it or not, there are so many fields we'll find ourselves in which will demand your certificate. It's very important that as a woman, you equip yourself to that level. Like she said, you need to prepare so that when the opportunity comes, it meets it. I was then back to my conversation. I was in a position like that where I thought, oh, maybe I could speak nice, I could do this nice, I could do this, and so why am I not given the opportunity? But I said to myself, I knew what was hunting me, and I told myself that, you know what, go fix it. Go get the necessary things that you need, that the next time when you come, when they ask you, do you have this? Oh,
the conversation then changes.
Exactly.
You see where I'm coming from?
Exactly.
Where the conversation is different when you have it all.
When you
then
have
now
it
you
all.
know that it really is against you.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you know when the conversation gets sweeter, then we're about to wrap up the conversation. I'm like, oh my God, why are we doing that? But yeah, this has been a wonderful conversation, and I keep telling you that we cannot use one arm to dissect all the conversations, but we're giving you pointers as to how you should handle yourself, as to how you could include yourself in these big conversations. And of course, the dish on X, on MX24, on Instagram, on Facebook. Just jump on it. If you missed if you missed the very first part of the conversation, you missed the last part, it's not too late. Just go on social media. We've left it all there for you to re-watch and learn. Like I keep saying, we're learning and growing together. Aseidua, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I mean, this evening. I enjoyed every bit of you, from your face to your voice to your intellect. I really appreciate you, and I wish you all the very best on all your endeavors. This has been a great conversation. You can agree to that. Okay. And to you out there, we're learning and we're growing together right here on the show. It's The Dish on MX24. Notes to follow us on all social media platforms. It's MX24GH on all social media platforms. Also, remember that right here we're learning, and so anytime you join us on the show, you're going to be learning. Okay, all right. I want to say big thank you to Decozone for this wonderful set. I want to say big thank you to Epiglow. Epiglow says your skin is struggling, it's giving pains, it's giving struggles. Listen, pamper that skin. The clearer and more beautiful your skin is, the more confidence you have to walk into the office and tell them that I deserve that seat too. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, Nivea says they have amazing products for you, your skin, your entire family. Gino, Telecel, Betway. We want to say thank you to you and to my wonderful self. I'm going to say shout outs to all my wonderful people, all my girl dems who keep showing up on the show for us to grow and learn together. This is a great platform to learn. And so please, thank you so much for showing up every single time. See you again next week. My name is Miriam Mensah.